and we're not this, carbon copy repeat of each other, but we put all of that aside so that you can be as lethal as humanly possible. I mean, at the JSOC level, you are at the sharpest edge of the pointiest spear. And the only thing that you need to be thinking about, especially if you want to survive the sometimes and often very dangerous things that the country asks of those units, is to be completely bought in on that mission. So anything subtracting from that lethality is a detriment to the people that are serving overseas, specifically in that.
Andy, one of the things, too, that differentiates special operators, and you just emphasized it, is this is not your first rodeo. And I mean, that's underplaying the situation. You've already been through boot camp, which for all the branches isn't easy. I don't care what you're in. You can be a cook in the Navy.
Wow.
Yes, it's not easy. It's not like, your high school gym class.
You mentioned cook in the Navy. Then it fucking went off.
He's been a Ranger. He's been through boot camp. He's been through Ranger school. You get guys who've had specific MOS schools before they're in SEAL Team 6. They may have been through, I don't know, some EOD training or something like that. These are all really complicated schools. You got Green Berets who've been through 2 or 3 schools beforehand. I mean, this is the kind of thing where you've now broken down all these barriers, and you've got, as you called it, the tip of the spear. Guys operating as one, almost operating as a symbiote. They can read each other. They can see each other. They just got to tap you on the shoulder, and one guy knows to go left and right, breaching that door. He goes the wrong way, he's dead. People are freaking dead. It's not like you go the wrong way. Oh, sorry, do-over. It's not Wayne's World, where they're playing a hockey game and come on, start over. That's not the way this shit works. People die. And that's my problem with this wokeness crap. Obviously, the politics of it I hate, but the division component, like so much effort's gone into teaching you guys cohesion. It's just shame to see it all attacked with this silly nonsense stuff.
Wokeness is an ideology that survives in an academic environment. In my own personal experience overseas, combat and warfare, it doesn't care about your personal beliefs. It doesn't care about the color of your skin. It doesn't care about your gender, your age, any of those things. A bullet, I've never watched a bullet, not that you can really watch a bullet, but I've never seen a bullet or heard of a bullet carving around somebody because they were the DEI hire for that particular organization. It's a structure that falls apart in real life. And fortunately, in my experience, even though I have heard in communication with people that are still in, that there is this creep towards, you could call it DEI, you could call it woke. I would call it an attention suck outside of lethality. That does exist even in the special operations world, but it's such a small community that they can do a better job of kind of pushing it away and focusing on that lethality. And it's one of the things, though, that I hope will change with the oncoming administration. And I'm very interested to see how Pete Hegseth approaches this, because at least listening to what he has said, he wants to be rid of all of those things. And from somebody who operated in that environment, and my opinion only counts for myself, I think that's what the military needs. It's what are we required to do on the battlefield? And everything is targeted towards exactly that. We reverse engineer from that. And in my own personal experience, wokeness in DEI doesn't appear in that calculus.
Now, that is such an important point. And it goes to the much larger thing. And it goes to exactly what happened and why what happened on November 5th happened is because people are tired of this. You see all kinds of companies right now getting rid of it, because it's not. It actually divides more than it helps, because if you have to take this DEI training, and I don't know if you've ever had to take anything like that, it's really divisive. It causes you to have thoughts. It's like, well, it makes people think things that they otherwise necessarily wouldn't, by basically painting you as racist.
Well, first of all, it's expressly political. And in a college campus, for instance, when you are supposed to be neutral, or the military, where you're supposed to be neutral, you're supposed to be, a non-political entity, it is extremely divisive, and it makes you feel like you are inherently bad or racist based off of your skin tone. And in a military situation, this is what I love about how Andy Stumpf laid that out, is it becomes lethal. It's a threat to the productivity of the military, not just the productivity, the safety of the men involved. When you have a divisive, expressly Marxist ideology poised in the troops like this, the military used to be a place that you go where there is no color. You guys are all on the same team, and it doesn't matter your background, and it doesn't matter your skin tone, it doesn't matter your ethnicity. You're all on the same team. And now, for some reason, the military says, no, actually, it's going to make us stronger by making us more divisive. And as Andy Stumpf laid out, it's actually the exact opposite.
No, and that's exactly what basic training and boot camp is all about. That's why they shave your head when you go in. That's why they make you look like one another, is because they're breaking you down from your individual self so that you are able to function as one cohesive unit. That you're not looking at a guy, his skin color or everything. You're looking at somebody who's got a job to do right with you, because your life depends on him and his life depends on you, and you have to do it together. You have to work together, which is kind of ironic that this is what it goes into what's happening today up on Capitol Hill. You want to talk about exactly what happens when they make diversity their strength? It's nothing but division. Everybody's all over the place. Nothing can get done. It's the exact opposite what we're seeing play out right now on Capitol Hill than what the military is supposed to do. And when you have missions like that with a guy in SEAL Team 6 who, carry out the most probably dangerous missions of any of the military that we have, these guys can't afford to be thinking anything like that.
And Pete, I mean, this is what's so interesting about Pete is and Andy Stumpf said in that interview, I actually like Pete because he's throwing a wrench in the status quo of the military. He's somebody who's controversial and for the right reasons. He's somebody who's willing to say, you know what? First of all, it doesn't make sense for the taxpayers to be paying for the hormones and surgeries of transgender soldiers, but it creates a problem when you have people like this with opposite gender identities in a unit that's all female or all male. Well, how do you handle somebody like that? So it creates these, again, problems of division, problems just in general. And should we be recruiting people like that? And that's the other thing too. Like, what is our goal in the military? Is our goal to be lethal? Is it to protect the American people? Is it to be a united, strong fighting force? Or is it to be a DEI organization? Are we trying to replicate an English studies major at a university system? What is the goal? And I think Pete is bringing us back to the original intention of any good fighting force, and that's frankly why he's being opposed by the higher ups of the military in the Pentagon, and it tells you a lot about their priorities.
So we have another clip. We're going to be playing that probably next half hour. It's going to be Dan and Andy Stumpf talking about Pete Hegseth and the challenges that he's facing up on Capitol Hill and what he can possibly get done. If you want to weigh in on any of this, give us a call, 844-484-3872, 844-4-the-USA. It's right before Christmas. Anything you want to talk about, or you want to breach any subject, willing to do it. It'll be like an open line Friday, like we always say on this great network right here, filling this time slot. Give us a call if you would like to get in on the action. It's Jim and Avita filling in for Dan on the Dan Bongino Show.
Big news. Rob Schmidt just beat CNN in the ratings. Yeah, it's true. Newsmax's #1 host, Rob Schmidt, just had a bigger audience than CNN during any hour of the day. That really is big. Millions of Americans like you are making the switch to Newsmax. They're getting the real facts. No BS and no spin. Just the truth. Even President Trump says he's watching Newsmax. You should too. Rob Schmidt and Newsmax are on all major cable systems. YouTube TV just added us. If your system doesn't carry Newsmax, just call them and cancel. Go to getnewsmax.com and we'll help you find a new carrier. 40 million Americans watch Newsmax. Find out why. Go to getnewsmax.com and start watching. Newsmax is real news for real people like you.
Dan Bongino.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
An O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card is the perfect gift for that hard to buy for person. Give the gift of convenience from O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Plus, the night before Christmas and all through the house, you're wide awake, frazzled, and really stressed out. Sound familiar? Skip the holiday stress and treat yourself to a little more peace this year with CBD from CB Distillery. It's like your holiday survival kit. CB Distillery has natural solutions for just about everything. Stress, sleep, post-workout pain, even mood and focus. All made with the highest quality clean ingredients. It's the perfect gift for those on your list that have everything. Stuff their stockings with better sleep. Treat your gym buddies to less pain after exercise and grab a little holiday calm for yourself. Whether you're new to CBD or already enjoying its healing benefits, now is the time to save 20% on everything with promo code HOLLY. Stock up now and get all your shopping done. Go to cbdistillery.com and use promo code HOLLY. That's cbdistillery.com. cbdistillery.com. Not available in Idaho, Iowa, and South Dakota. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Hey, just the socks. Thanks.
Great. Name, birthday, email address, shipping address, billing address. How many fire hydrants do you see? How'd you hear about us? Can we text you?
Get it.
If your online store doesn't use Shopify for checkout, your customers will just, check out. Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other leading e-commerce platforms. That means fewer abandoned carts and more for your business. So switch to Shopify at shopify.com/Westwood1 and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/Westwood1.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
DAV helps veterans like you get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
Victory is overcoming my limits so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Making sense of your morning. Glad to start your day here with O'Connor and Company. Weekday mornings, 5 to 9. Stop with the snooze button, roll out of bed, and get you.
So basically, Biden expects the taxpayers to pay off student loans for people who should pay it off themselves. He can't do that. It's all talk. That's your tax money going to do that, you know. Taxpayers fund that. Owls. JT, you're free to come up here. You punk motherfucker. JT made his debut on my panel. Look at him. Hey JT, why does your boss Rusty not like children? You're carousing with a doxer. Marie Lubopina is a doxer, troublemaker, rabble rouser. She's bragging all day. Yesterday, I got 10 people mad. Oh, I make them mad. Yeah, they're imploding. It's getting worse for them.
Now to GetTrumpWatches.com.
Jingle bell rock. Jingle bell drunken, jingle bell trees.
Dan Bongino Show. Thanks for joining us. Played a little piece of Dan's podcast from this morning with Andy Stump, a former SEAL Team 6 guy, and got a comment from Carlo in WMAL in Washington, D.C. Carlo, what do you got to say?
Podcast was amazing. Agreed. And let's face it, Navy SEALs are the baddest guys on the planet, okay? Let's face that. Okay. In 2014, University of Texas commencement speech, it was Navy Admiral William H. McRaven, and he gave the commencement speech, and he went into a lot of detail on the SEAL training and what they went through and all that. And I swear to you, it's the best speech I ever heard in my entire life.
You know, Carlo, a lot of these guys make speeches. Like one of the things that he had to make a speech one time, and he came right after
a state senator in Texas now. And at the time, it was a man who worked in the Pentagon who was there on 9/11, who basically almost died from burns all over his body. And Dan just couldn't follow up that speech. It was like, how do you follow up something like that? These guys are inspirational is because of what they have to do. Right, Evita?
No, I mean, so I just, not to get a little bit personal here, but my husband, other people in my family have really considered joining the SEALs. I have, military veterans in my family. They are the baddest of the bad, right? I mean, these guys, and something that made me take pause is I was thinking about how much these guys make, and you have members of Congress now that are saying we're demanding a pay raise. And I understand some of the arguments for it, but then you think about these Navy SEALs who protect our country, whose jobs are, outrageously more difficult than anything members of Congress do. They're on these deployments for, a year at a time, away from their families in places of the world that none of us can even comprehend what it's like. And they don't make nearly as much as members of Congress. And to me, I'm just like, you know what? I can't get behind it for you guys when you consider what these men do.
No, and this is what I'm hoping for, is that when they do get these budgets and everything, we take over Congress and the presidency next year, that maybe we can prioritize where that money goes, and not necessarily to the politicians. I don't want to hear about how hard they work and they have to sleep in their office. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is. We got a lot more to say about this. We got Dan and Andy on Pete Hegseth coming up. Stay tuned for that. We'll discuss that and more, and lots more on the CR on the Dan Bongino Show.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-555-2085. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems. If you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-555-2085. That's 800-555-2085. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-555-2085.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
I was going very slow right now from the Baltimore Washington Parkway up to Route 1 in College Park. The ramp from the outer go north on 95 in College Park is now reopened. The Jack trailer is on the left shoulder of that ramp now. You can't get by. Out of that, that's going to be heavy in Hampshire Avenue down to Georgia Avenue from the 270 spur across the Legion Bridge down toward the toll road. Roadwork there has been picked up. Interloop is slow from the toll road up to Georgetown Pike, and the interloop is heavy in Montgomery County from Old Georgetown Road to Connecticut Avenue. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMA Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, clearing, lows around 32. Tomorrow, sunny, colder and breezy. Highs around 40, feeling like the 20s with wind chill.
Plus, the night before Christmas, all through the house. You're wide awake, frazzled, and really stressed out. Sound familiar? Skip the holiday stress and treat yourself to a little more peace this year with CBD from CB Distillery. It's like your holiday survival kit. CB Distillery has natural solutions for just about everything. Stress, sleep, post-workout pain, even mood and focus. All made with the highest quality clean ingredients. It's the perfect gift for those on your list that have everything. Stuff their stockings with better sleep. Treat your gym buddies to less pain after exercise and grab a little holiday calm for yourself. Whether you're new to CBD or already enjoying its healing benefits, now's the time to save 20% on everything with promo code HOLLY. Stock up now and get all your shopping done. Go to cbdistillery.com and use promo code HOLLY. That's cbdistillery.com. cbdistillery.com. Not available in Idaho, Iowa, and South Dakota. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
Veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Making sense of the headlines. Listen to this. It's stunning. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor.
Days 5 to 9 a.m.
We'll be covering it for you live as we always do.
News Talk 105.9.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
This is my new best friend, Esther. She might look like any normal, playful puppy, but Esther's being raised to become a canine companions for independent assistance dog for a person with a disability. To get there, she needs lots of loving care and attention, plenty of exercise, and good eating habits so that she can live a long and healthy life for her future family. Visit cci.org or call 1-800-572-BARK. Raise a puppy, change a life. Make a world of difference in the life of a person with a disability.
Making sense of social media.
There's no end to the ways you can undermine your culture.
Mark Levin.
Weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Let's talk about that.
News Talk 105.9.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
New year, new savings at Sweet Deals. Save 50% or more on extraordinary restaurant, product, and entertainment deals. And don't forget to check out our amazing travel packages. Take advantage of huge savings today at sweetdeals.com. That's sweetdeals.com.
Making sense of your world. You can be a part of the conversation because that's what makes us different than all of the rest of the media.
O'Connor and Company.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Good morning, Larry.
News Talk 105.9.
WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 till 9 p.m.
On News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news.
Any questions? Call 8444 the USA to get the answers. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
It's Jim and Avita filling in for Dan today. Give us a call if you want to. We're going to treat it a little bit like an open line Friday. You can use that number 844-484-3872. We're happy to take your calls. So we were talking a little bit earlier. Dan had an absolutely fantastic podcast this morning. Recommend you go check it out at Rumble, wherever you get your content from. If you want to see the video, you can definitely see that on Rumble. Dan was talking with Andy Stump, a former Navy SEAL Team 6 member. And in the last half hour, they were talking about wokeness in the military. And at the end of the interview, or at the end of that portion of the interview, they brought up Pete Hegseth in the hopes of what he could bring as the leader of the Department of Defense. So let's listen to a little bit of that as they expand on that.
Andy, on the nomination of Pete Hegseth for the critical position of Defense Secretary, one of the top 2 or 3 most important positions in the world. Forget about our government. I mean, we have the most powerful military in the known universe. It's not even in dispute. One of the things I found so objectionable about the attacks on Pete, again, I was not in the military. I spent a career in law enforcement, NYPD, and on the federal side. It's a hard job. It's nothing like the military. It's not even in the ballpark. But I just remember going over to Afghanistan and doing the site advance for Obama at Bagram. And watching these guys living in these hooches with just like sand on every and the guys are like, you can't get this sand out of anything. It's like these guys they're going out and doing their runs, and they got sand in their lungs, are spitting out like brown mucus all the time. I was out of there after 2 weeks, Andy. These guys are living there on 10-month year deployments, and they come back. And they're attacking Pete, suggesting some guy he has an alcohol problem. No one I know has ever seen that. It's a fabricated issue completely. But Pete Hegseth's a guy who enjoys spending some time with people who understand what it's like to be in combat. I don't understand that. Andy, I have no idea what it's like to breach a door in Afghanistan with some mutt behind you pointing an AK-47. I have no freaking idea. I got to imagine when you come back, maybe headed to a bar responsibly with a few of your boys, talking about that experience is really the only thing you have. I mean, what are you going to do? Talk to some shrink about what the hell do they know? They haven't been there. And for them to attack him about this, that really pisses me off, because guys like you who need that outlet now are probably going to be like, oh my gosh, someone going to put me on Twitter at a bar? Like, am I going to be able to get a job later? That's kind of bullshit.
I mean, let's just be honest. It was better before social media. We're all human beings and we all make mistakes, but now mistakes can be captured on social media and it's internet lives forever. In the military, drinking culture. But having said that, it's also steeped in the responsible use of alcohol, at least from a doctrine level. And actually now in the modern military, one of the fastest ways you can be ejected administratively is what's called an alcohol incident. So it's a portion of the culture. They expect you to be in the time where you're clocked in overseas. I don't know what it says about me, but I love the fact that Pete's potential nomination has people up in arms. I love that the people who are like, we're a 4-star general. Yeah, that's the point. Maybe you don't need to be a 4-star general to hold that position. Maybe 4-star generals, admirals, although there are some great ones out there, maybe at that level you have become a politician inside of the military system. And what we actually need is somebody who didn't get to that rarefied air and status or stratus, and has, who can come in and give it a fresh look. I mean, if an old 4-star general or admiral can pick it up, why can't we give a younger guy a chance and give him some time behind the wheel and see how it goes?
I think that's kind of the gist of really where it falls. And I've heard this. I heard somebody talking about this. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they said when you start moving up the general ranks and you get promotions, and at a certain point you have to become political to be able to get those promotions. So you basically become a politician just to get promoted up that high, and you have to do other things that you wouldn't necessarily do. So I think that's part of the problem.
And there's a huge incentive with these guys to makes a lot of money for a lot of very powerful contractors. These military generals then leave the military and go and work for right after they retire. So the interesting thing about Pete Hegseth that I don't even know if they really got into is that he's somebody who doesn't have these connections. Hegseth. It's not that he's unqualified. The guy's a combat veteran. It's that he's not in the club. And when you're not in the club, people get really freaked out. Suddenly the status quo is in jeopardy. And they should be scared because it is in jeopardy. Pete Hegseth is going to change things in the military for the better. The jig is up.
Yeah, exactly. And this is another thing. What they were talking about being worried about him going through all these generals and getting rid of all this nonsense and DEI nonsense. This is not unprecedented. It happened before. It happened with Eisenhower. When they put Eisenhower in charge, one of the things he did was to go through all these generals at the top and get rid of a bunch. Your own general, and these guys that actually fought and won World War II, because he got rid of the deadwood. He got rid of the political class that was taking up space at the top of the military, and got people who were going to fight. And it was actually right before he got involved in the war. It wasn't even that we were in the war and they had to make these changes. it was like our military is not ready to fight, and we see what's going on over there. If we ever have to do this, we're not prepared for this. We have to get the right people in here. That's here. I mean, anytime people are threatened with losing their jobs, they're going to be fearful, and that's kind of what's happening here. All these new people coming in, new perspectives, and people are fearful that things are going to change, and people are always reluctant to change. That they're not going to go along with the change, so they're probably going to lose their job. And I welcome it. I welcome it in every single part of our government. That's what I think Pete's about. That's what I think Doge is about. That's what I think Tulsi Gabbard at DNI is about. Changing everything. I'm for it. I'm here for it. Give it to me all. We're going to make this whole thing better.
Aside from that, Hag said is unqualified. We don't know who he is. He's a he can't handle. They're saying the same thing about Tulsi Gabbard, by the way. The next biggest critique of Pete Hegseth is that somehow he's a bad person. These are character assaults on Pete Hegseth. And he does have a past, I mean, and this is kind of what Andy Stumpf laid out. I mean, anybody who has been in combat like Pete Hegseth has a past generally. I mean, it's kind of the reality of the situation. I think that's probably better that he understands that about the military community than not, but that's just my opinion. And I don't know if not everybody listening knows this, but my mom was on Fox and Friends the weekend. And what she has told me is that he has had a really return to Jesus moment over the last few years. She said that in the years that she's sat right next to him on the couch on Fox and Friends, she has noticed a real transformation in him as he's grown into becoming a father. Man who, he runs out the school on Sundays to make sure he's at church. This is a guy who's become a real family man and matured,
Did I put that?
Came out of the military.
Right behind the computer.
Your past. The thing that gets me about all of the critiques and the slander from the corporate media, from people in Washington, from Democrat and Republican senators, is that they don't care about people who are frequently involved in infidelity. These are people who, I mean, even Joni Ernst, who is supposed to be a big roadblock to Pete Hegseth getting confirmed, is accused of cheating on her husband with a subordinate in the military. So I just don't want to hear from these people. They're total hypocrites. They don't care about faith rules. It doesn't matter to them. And I can tell you from my mother, on a personal level, Pete is a good man.
And what you said there is so important. These people that are sitting in judgment of him, that are going to pass judgment as to whether he's qualified, and are looking at the morals of his past or whatever it is, whatever garbage they're spewing about that. And you have people like on the Democrat side, Dick Blumenthal, who's a stolen valor guy, and he's going to. But yet this clown lied about his service in Vietnam. I mean, what kind of crap is that? Don't how bad Pete Hegseth. Look in your own mirror and judge yourself. That's a bunch of garbage, people like that. Well, you go down the list on these people in the Senate, and you're going to find something in every single one of these people's past. It's not about that. It's can he do the job? I would say leading men in combat, it's kind of a pretty good thing on the resume. And I would say caring about, the people that you actually serve with is kind of a big deal. Actually knowing what the mission of the military is a big deal. I'd say not wanting to get to the roots of white rage is kind of a big deal. I would think that that's a positive in my mind. So, yeah, it's a bunch of garbage.
We kind of talked about the monetary reasons for the military establishment not wanting Pete Hegseth. These are people who have shaky deals with defense contractors. They make a lot of money once they leave. These are also people who love the wokeism being injected into the military because they're activists, because they're neo-Marxists at heart. When it comes to the senators, I think what we all have to understand is principal stands. Again, we talked about how they're hypocrites, but also Congress is very personal. A lot of the decisions that are made, a lot of the stands that are made, it's not what it seems. There's always personal politics playing out, and there's always self-interest motivating the actions of these senators, of these representatives. And in the case of Joni Ernst, a great example, suddenly so worried about his treatment of women and so worried about his experience in the military. And then we realized wanting Donald Trump to replace Pete Hegseth with herself. And that's alleged. We don't know if that's for sure, but these are the allegations about it. Suddenly it starts to unravel that you realize, okay, it's not about any of the allegations against Pete Hegseth. It's about self-interest. And that's what politics in Congress is always the underlying issue.
The sad thing about it is it wasn't always this way. Whenever you had nominees to any of the chips, the courts, nominees for a person's cabinet, they pretty much, unless, it's Charles Manson or Jeffrey Dahmer, you're going to make it through on, like, Antonin Scalia. That wouldn't happen today. They would battle tooth and nail and get into his past. They probably that he was tied to the mob or whatever, which, having absolutely no proof about that, but they put it out there. And this is the garbage they spew. This is the crap that they put out there about everybody. There's nothing wrong with Pete. I'll go into the story again, told it before if you missed it. We were at the Patriot Awards, which, by the way, Pete hosted every year. And afterwards, he decides that he's going to stay. And Dan invited him down to Cabana by the pool. There was an open bar. It was just a few of us down there. Who's the one not drinking at this event? The things that these people do.
No, and again, this man is not an alcoholic. You guys, I know Pete Hegseth was at my wedding. I know this man. I babysat his children on multiple occasions. My mom used to sit next to him on his couch for 8 hours a week. I know him. Like, all of these allegations are fake. They are all self-interested. There's money at the root of it. There's personal ambition at the root of it. And that's what you're going to see from all of these nominees. It's not Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is getting a lot of attention right now. You better believe that Tulsi Gabbard, that RFK Jr., that Kash Patel, these guys are all this kind of pushback. The only difference is it's going to be behind closed doors. We know the people won't buy any of these allegations publicly. We know that they don't have a case to make to the public, so they're going to cause problems behind the scenes, and it's really disgusting. And we should find out who those members are, and they should be primary, because they're standing in the way of Trump's agenda.
Well, that's why I think there's going to be major changes once we get to January 20th. Once we get, actually, it could even happen before if we get a new Congress sworn in and they get their crap together. But I think major changes are coming. We're going to be talking more about this resolution deal. Apparently, KJP's up there right now. We're going to listen to this in the break to see what kind of garbage she's spewing about this whole deal. Joe Biden has been completely absent from this whole negotiation. So we got a lot of that coming up more. Give us a call if you want, 844-484-3872. It's Jim and Avita filling in for Dan on the Dan Bongino Show.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is...
All right, the prayer is, dear God, forgive me my trespasses, as I forgive those who trespass against me. It takes a big person to admit when they're wrong about something. It takes an even bigger person to correct that mistake. Even though JC said it, she talked about her life when, and she got married and all that. And I've been saying her husband's a pedophile and all that shit. You know, life is life. Now, I don't really know what her circumstances were back in the day. All right. Yeah, I was wrong for going after JC over that. Just as, you know, I don't expect an apology for her for, she doxed my mother. And here's JT. The guy is fully fucking triggered. JC knows I never meant her any harm. Still don't. She has just as much right to be out here on YouTube using this as anybody else. Rusty's been trying to shut her up from fucking day one. Rusty is jealous of JC. JC's able to develop friends. She has a chat. They come there. And ever since I've been here, Rusty's done nothing but harass JC. Everybody's, trying to be friends or whatever. There's a core group. And now you interject JT. JT got started right here. Nobody knew that fucker till he come into my chat. Gotti and Rusty brought him here because Gotti and Rusty are after me like Gotti was like they're after JC's chat. I never tried to tell JC how to run her chat. Never will. It's not in my nature. Gotti, you're a punk. Rusty, you're a punk. You're a bigger punk than Gotti is. Gotti doesn't stream. He won't go on camera because he can't take the scrutiny. Makes him a liberal. Yeah, he's the kind of person that would tell you to do a job he'd never do himself. Hey, that toilet needs cleaning. When he was an E1, he didn't want to do that kind of shit. Everybody had to take turns fucking going to the scullery and the galley, mess cooking, KP duty, whatever you want to call it. We got to eat. JT, you're a punk motherfucker. You ain't gonna win at this if you're trying to win something. Acts like he doesn't know who Petro Papadiklis is. You can't be around her. You can't be around Rusty without knowing what her little core group and what they do. Nobody goes to your chat, Rusty. You got fucking channels for different people in here. You're the most triggered person, Rusty. Oh, I got 10 people mad. You come into a chat, you post at people, and if they respond, then you're an idiot, Rusty. You have no shame, Rusty. You have no shame. You don't have any children. There's no man in your life. That's why you're so miserable. It's so easy to be negative out here. Because JC doxed my mother, JT, that doesn't give you permission to do the same fucking thing. I mean, you weren't even there. Where the fuck were you 4 years ago, JT? I mean, you were in YouTube, obviously, and you were on other platforms. Gotti is honest. Yeah, he's honest, all right. He's honest about his sincere ignorance. Gotti likes to attack and then run away and want to sit back and laugh at people. Ha, ha, ha. That's what Petro Papadiklis does. Oh, you're mad. Oh, I made you mad. Oh, I made you mad. That's why I call it romper room. You don't dare come here, do you, Rusty? Not now. Now, what you guys thought you were accomplishing the other day, you stepped right into it. You think you're going to Buffalo Billy? Can't bullshit a bullshitter, Gotti. You're a lying son of a bitch. You're like that Blumenthal, Senator Blumenthal from fucking Connecticut. Lied about his military service. Like he was a combat veteran during Vietnam. No, he wasn't. God save our country if we got people like JT to protect the Constitution of the United States. You're going to lose your First Amendment right. You're going to lose your Second Amendment right. And it's not just about guns. It says the right to bear and keep arms. It doesn't give a list. My hands are lethal weapons. Karate chop you in the throat, you might die. I break your larynx, you're going to choke to death unless you get immediate medical attention. That's the first kill spot they teach you. Right in the throat. Why do you think they try to shoot presidents in the head? It's a kill shot. Only takes once. Owls, you're really not welcome here, and I'm just going to remove your comments. You're an idiot. You're a failure. You can't even be yourself, Owls. Why can't you just be you? Why you got to hide your identity? JT thinks he's smarter than all the people in these chats. He does. And his little fucking woman, the same thing. Duh, you just old. Duh. As she's hanging around with Rusty. How old are you, Rusty? You're in your 50s, Rusty? You don't look like them pictures you're using. You compare yourself to Alicia. Alicia goes on camera. You won't even turn your fucking camera on, you ugly fuck. You know, and I was wrong what I did with Alicia. Those are her kids, right? So I get wrapped up just like everybody else does. See, these people, Angie knows that I'm a forgiving person. Angie knows if she come to me in confidence, I'm not gonna go out there and tell everybody. She knows I'd help her out. Just like I'd give her $100, just like I did you guys. She's not my niece, right? Cody's sister. Cody's going to be coming here pretty soon. Cody got into some trouble, violated probation. They threw him in jail. He's been in fucking rehab. He's in rehab right now. He's at Canton Potsdam Hospital. Poor guy is really dying. He fucking called here. He needs a place to go so he can check into probation and all that shit. And there's somebody at the sheriff's office told him to do it. So we're going to help poor guy out, see if we can't rehabilitate poor old Cody. Because he's been in a rut for a long time. But his grandmother just died. His grandmother raised him. Babied him. She's gone now. His grandmother is only 5 years older than me. That's it. Yeah, I'm old enough to be his mother's father. Jody. Tiffany's mom. Oh, Tiffany's has a boyfriend. She works here in Governor, and she's pregnant with her first baby. She's not having an abortion. She's going to have the baby. She works. And the guy she's with is a pretty decent guy. And we're going to help Cody with his substance abuse. So I gave him permission to come here. And the cops know it. He'll be on probation. He has to go to probation once a week. Has to be drug tested. He was into the cocaine. He's lucky he's not dead because they laced that shit. Fucking told him. They tried to tell him. All it takes is that you're driving and you're driving a vehicle without legal tags on it and something happens and here comes the cops. You're fucked. You better cooperate. He did. He's been in jail for 4 months, and part of that is part of his rehabilitation dry out tank.
Paychecks this holiday season until an agreement is passed. Some will be required to still work. Border Patrol agents and ICE will remain on the job, with most law enforcement. The same goes with the U.S. military, the Postal Service, air traffic controllers, and the TSA.
Like Rusty, if I tear a person down, I'm not going to leave them like that. Unless you're my absolute enemy. It's always best to build them back up. Otherwise, don't get involved with them. Leave them out to their own devices. Hi, Patrick. Hey, Patrick, I'm a man of my word. But if I give you a wrench, I don't want you fucking timing nobody out. I give you a wrench, that's only so you can't be blocked. If they block you, you're still going to see them. Because you did show your motorcycle. I'm a man of my word. So I don't know if you've made a comment on this particular one. And what that will do, if I give you a wrench, you will see what I do behind the scenes when people come in. If I, time them out or just, block them. Oh, Cody's going to have something to say to Rusty when he gets here. He's already been filled in. And Rusty ain't going to like it. She can call him fucking drug addict, whatever. I don't really give a shit. Because she fucking takes pills and drinks all the time. She's on, what do they take? Antidepressants? What the fuck's the matter with you people? I have anxiety. My name's Jeff Holler. What the fuck does Jeff Holler have to be anxious over? What the fuck is so stressful in Holler's life? Seriously, Holler, what the fuck is so do you work at a dangerous job or something or what? Not like you're the coal miner's son, no? Loretta. Oh, Patrick, kind of like, hey, we'll leave them out. This is against Rusty and Gotti, and them using Wiggins' daughter. So let's keep it there today. All right. Don't talk about JC's wrenches. Don't ping on JC, Patrick. Because at the moment I'm white knighting for her. And there's nothing wrong with that. Care what JC's done. Doesn't matter. Doesn't. Big deal. They got my mother's picture. If I was that upset about it, I'd just block everybody. Patrick, I'll give you a suggestion. You might go to Dougie's chat and bring the subject of Billy Hayden up and see what kind of advice he gives you, if he does give you any. Do that for me, Patrick. No, it's not being loyal to JC. It's called doing the right thing by your fellow stream owners.
Windy tomorrow and very cold. She'll have wind chills in the
Yeah. Well, you don't know people in here because you don't know Stray Cat, and you know, but you're all over them. You're new here, Patrick. Then where'd you come from? Shannon's chat? Well, that's your fault, you dumb fucker. Quit drinking.
The president, nothing has changed. They have no answers for anything at all whatsoever. Apparently, they asked about last night. I don't know if you were aware of this. It happened kind of late last night. The VP canceled her California trip and was rushed to the White House. Joe Biden canceled his ending vacation in Delaware and rushed to the White House. And everybody.
Well, that explains it, Patrick. I don't think I've ever spent more than 5 minutes in space chat. That was 4 years ago. That's all them other guys. I don't pay attention to any of that shit. They come here. They go to Wiggins. They go to JC's. They go to Vegas.
Yeah, so we were told that there were 900 troops in Syria.
So you're one of them, Patrick. You're a fucking space chat fucker, huh?
Why did we not know this before?
And they're hanging with all the young kids.
And of course, refer you to the Pentagon. And my point to woman for the commander in chief, she knows the answer to tell us, and I don't know why. Troops in Syria. I'm not even involved in Syria in the first place. The government has been involved in funding rebels, which are really terrorists. So, the American people don't know.
I think that's the key question. Why are we even involved in it? I'm not understanding it. I mean, are there allies in the region? No. I mean, I'm trying in my mind to kind of make it as like maybe keeping an eye on Iran and what they're doing as far as intelligence gathering type of thing, but sending active troops in. So it reminds me going back to Kamala Harris. You remember that when they asked her and she said no. To this date, we have no troops in harm's way. Then you remember that video?
And why are you here sucking my cock? Why are you trying to
but let's guess.
Turn that fucker down? Why are you here fucking trying to make a home in my chat, Patrick? Why don't you go open your own chat? If you're independent, go open your own fucking panel. Dougie, JC, Wiggin, they all helped me open this. Chinchilla a little bit. Chinchilla's a good character witness for me. Yep. It's a good thing I don't live close to like Chinchilla, because I probably would have already been over as a guest in his house. I would have brought my fucking T3000 fucking speaker with me. We crank up a little bit of music. He likes that. He likes that gothic stuff. I'm not really into that. I'm a rhythm and blues, rock and roll, or fucking country guy. Originalist. Yeah. That fiddle player. Oh, I wish I could play a fiddle. How about it, Patrick? You fucking fat fuck. Your motorcycle doesn't even run. You went out I got you to take the cover off, and that's not a chopper. That's not a chopper. Why are you here sucking my cock? Why are you? You don't even know me, Patrick. You come to my chat uninvited, and you're a squatter. You're a squatter. I bet you Wiggin would agree with that. Trying to make a home right here, and you're doing it over at JC's. I mean, as a streamer, we need chatters. It's nice to have them come in, but you're really not the best, Patrick. I mean, you say some funny things, but overall, you're just a lazy bastard. Lazy fuck, Patrick. I was. Well, what are you today? You're a man with a broken down chopper, a 1990. Here it is, 2024. You got a fucking 25-year-old motorcycle, and you couldn't even start it. I suggest you, unless you know how to do it yourself, take it to somebody, have that SS carburetor taken off there, put the stock carburetor back on it, and bring it back to its original condition. Now, you ain't got the money to do that, Patrick, because you're fucking homeless. I'd like to know what you're getting for disability and for what. Nobody likes a stupid drunk, Patrick. That's what you are. You're fucking stupid drunk, Patrick. You really are. A stupid drunk. I've already been saved. I don't need you. I've believed in Jesus all my life, you dumb fuck. You ain't crashing nothing, you fucking stupid fuck. Trying.
Kind of lady that she was. Obama failed her. Obama came in and he said, I'm going to end the wars, and he did it because he's a weak man, probably a likely compromised man, and he made this
Blue Jay.
This was back during the Obama admin. He said, I'm not going to do anything about Assad unless Assad uses chemical weapons on his people. Right? That was the line that he drew in the sand. Well, Assad at the time had no the United States, the rest of the West. And suddenly, supposedly, he used
Let's do that.
against his people.
I timed you out for 1 minute, Patrick. 1 minute I timed you out for.
No, it was actually Islamic terrorists who did this. It was actually Al Qaeda.
Pretty soon I gotta take a piss, Patrick.
What I will say is our government and
when I do that, I'm gonna time you out for 5 minutes. So I go take a piss.
Since the beginning of our intel agencies, these people lie to us. They try to get us in wars. Think about Operation Northwoods, where they were willing to actually bomb the American people to get us involved in a conflict with Cuba.
If you don't know Dougie, I suggest you get to know him because he's part of this team. He helped me go live. And I am grateful for him coming up here, visiting, and helping me figure out the fucking quirk I was just about ready to figure out. Appreciate that.
Insubordination about the number of troops that were in Syria. These are the kind of people that we're up against.
I'm not so proud I won't accept help if I need it.
So special and different.
I had this clip. I didn't know if we were going to get to it, but it's actually perfect for right now. Spokesperson yesterday about the troops in Syria, and here's what I don't get. He either doesn't know or did know is lying. You decide what. Listen to this.
As you know, we have been briefing you regularly that there are approximately 900 U.S. troops deployed to Syria. In light of the situation in Syria and the significant interest, we recently learned that those numbers were higher. And so asked to look into it. I learned today that, in fact, there are approximately 2,000 U.S. troops in Syria. As I understand it, as it was explained to me, these additional forces are considered temporary rotational forces that deploy to meet shifting mission requirements, whereas the core 900 deployers are on longer-term deployments. And as you know, for many of our deployments, numbers will fluctuate from time to time. But given that this number is significantly higher than what we've been briefing, I wanted to let you know as soon as I found out this information.
Well, that doesn't make me feel any better that there's more there and that, oh, now you're just deciding to let us do that. Right now, you have a power vacuum in Syria, just like we had in Iraq. What's going to fill that? And when he talked about, mission, I can't even remember the words that he used, but it was about, depending on the mission, it was to rotate people in and out. What could possibly be the mission? What is it? What's the definition of the mission? You don't deploy troops into a combat area without knowing what the mission is. Maybe they know it. Why don't we know it?
I don't think they do know it. I don't think there is a mission, Jim. There is no mission because what did we accomplish in Afghanistan, for instance? Even right now, supposedly the Taliban is still our enemy. We're funding the Taliban. Our U.S. tax dollars are directly and indirectly going to the Taliban. And again, Jim, there is no mission. And when I think about it from a perspective of an American, but also as a Christian, it's enraging. We are funding terrorists who are decimating ancient Christian communities across the Middle East. We destroyed it in Iraq. I mean, there is no Christian civilization there anymore. It is unconscionable, and we're not told that side of the story. I think we created this. Our intel agencies have created this false narrative that somehow funding these regime change operations and terrorists across the Middle East will make us safer. And in reality, all it has done is, again, open ourselves up to a massive migration crisis because we let in all these refugees. And from a moral Christian perspective, the destruction of ancient Christian communities, which I find to be absolutely disgusting and frankly horrifying that my tax dollars go toward that.
And I 100% agree. As somebody who loves history, and I bring history up on the show all the time, I love archaeology. I wanted to be an archaeologist as a kid. It pains me just in the worst way to see the destruction of a lot of, obviously the people, but before them, their ancestors, the things that they built, the things that will tell us so much more about us today, the things that technologically were thought to be impossible. We can't learn about that. It doesn't make us better as a people to watch the destruction of these things. All right, we're going to break just a little bit early right now because we're going to get into this CR bill, let you know, seeing if there's some breaking news happening on that, and we'll be right back with you on that. It's Jim and Avita filling in for Dan on the Dan Bongino Show.
Old Patrick went right straight to Vegas chat. Look at that fucker go. It is broke down. The fucker wouldn't start. He didn't even want to take the cover off it. It's not a chopper. That's not a custom-made bike. It takes a lot. If you buy a new Harley, you take that to somebody and they chop it, there goes your warranty. He didn't really show the front of it where it's Harley Davidson, they have front ends. They can make them forks just a little bit longer. It brings it up a little bit. Almost looks like a chopper. That ain't no chopper. The chopper is what you go to Orange County Choppers to buy. All right? Or who's the other guy there? Counts Customs. And who's the other guy that fucking builds motorcycles? Yeah. I miss those shows. getting the kick out of that. I spilled a martini on the computer. All I did is lift my hand like that. Yeah, I had it sitting in the wrong place and down it went. So the fuck what? It can be replaced. In fact, it is replaced. Look at Patrick. He's crying like a fucker. And I did. I timed him out for 5 minutes before I got up and went to the bathroom. Crying like a fucker. I should show something right now. Patrick, come back into my chat. I got something I'm going to show you. I should show this motherfucker. The print's going to be backward. I don't want the fucking camera. What the fucking deal is? I'll have to check it, right? Social Security Administration. Social Security Administration, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. There's my statement on my benefits for the year 2025. Patrick, I'm 63. I'm eligible for Social Security. There it is. It's backwards, but there you go. Came in the mail today. Yeah, I'm on the high end of Social Security. I get a lot. I put my time in. I paid that motherfucker. We're forced to do it. Some ways it's good, and other ways it's bad. What's bad is the way the economy is. You know, the value of our dollar drops. It's not good for people who pay into the system. It's just like, it's supposed to be like an insurance company. It's an annuity. And it's not an income when you become eligible for it. I mean, you can call it income, but you're not, you already work. It's taxed. It's already been taxed.
Instinct may drive you to reach for lethal option right away. What if there were a way to effectively defend yourself and de-escalate a situation without the irreversible consequences and deadly burnout? BYRNA, a non-lethal pistol launcher equipped with two. All the way, we just need protection to confidently ensure we can defuse the situation and drive the threat away.
Wow, they're fucking wound up. Patrick, I never said I didn't want to be famous. I never made that statement. You just running your suck fuck. He's all mad. He ran right there to fucking cry about Billy Hayden. Yeah, your motorcycle's a piece of junk. You haven't taken care of it very fucking good. You haven't ridden. I was right. Fucking 3-4 months ago. You haven't ridden that fucker in years. I was absolutely right about you and your motorcycle. You got one. That's about it. I think I said that. I said that fucker's probably a part sitting on the counter. It's not a part, but it's sitting there. It fucking can't be ridden. You got plates on it. It's in Louisiana. Holy fuck. You can ride all year round down there. You guys don't get shit for cold weather. Very, very few cold days down in there. Of course, the way you guys are down there, if it gets down to 65 degrees, you're putting parkas on. You can't take the elements.
country, and that was some of them.
It's fucking crazy.
Countless Americans lose their jobs. 19 pandemic, which, by the way, again, this did not need to have the kind of reaction when they shut down the entire country.
You're 1,000,000% correct on that, and that's exactly what the press. Whenever he brings that up, he just keeps.
Don't worry.
Extreme
Patrick Roll won't ever have a wrench in my chat. He's crying like a baby. I'll give Wiggin one. Wiggin can have a wrench if he wants one.
We had to shut down twice in order to get Bill Clinton's attention. Now, once we got in Arizona.
Now, if Wiggin buys me a Harley Davidson, he can come in here and call me moron and monkey all he wants. He doesn't have to suck my dick. And I'm not sucking his dick. I don't do that shit. I only joke about it. I only pretend to be gay.
And rest comfortable that while the Washington news media and the Washington lobbyists and the Washington bureaucrats are all going to.
But he knows I got this chat. He knows he does that. He's driving JT and Gotti crazy. I'm only helping him. Directly and indirectly. Because his daughter was my first angel, and I found out, and you hear in the background and that, and they're making fun of her still. I never used JC's sister against her. I talked about her husband in her own words. All right, but if they're okay with it, what's it up to me? I'm not the authorities. That kind of shit happens in the States all the time. People growing up. When I was 15, I wasn't bad like some of them. I thought I fucking knew everything and I was a grown up. My dad let me do certain things. And, you sit there and witness it. If you're going to drink, you got to be responsible. My grandfather taught me if you can't be the same person drinking as you are when you're sober, before you ever start drinking, you shouldn't be drinking. Very immature. I talk to adults like that in front of my grandfather. My fucking grandfather would knock me right off my fucking feet. They'd fucking knock you, do it to you too. You go ahead, call Child Protective Services. They wouldn't do shit back then. Child Protective Services. Why is Rusty all up into his ass? And that's not even her daughter. Gee, we got to get him in trouble. It'll cause more problems for the disabled girl. So, Rusty, you're fucked. You really are fucked. You went after his daughter, a disabled person. That's just this. You're a bottom feeder. Complete bottom feeder. Now, JT's you're a bottom feeder, Rain. What did you get pregnant? What if you had fucking, we have technology today. You'd probably have abortion. Oh, Jesus, got Down syndrome. Abort. Adopting babies from overseas. Laura Ingraham did. Laura Ingraham adopted 2 boys from the UK. Or from, Ukraine. Not United Kingdom. So she's a single mom. Did you know that? Everybody know who Laura Ingraham is, obviously. She used to be on the radio. She might still have her radio program. I'm not sure. And I don't listen to her. She used to be we have a local radio station that broadcasts the talk radio. I come home from the Navy in 1991 and my mother's listening to Rush Limbaugh. So if you went to the house between noon and 3 to see my mother, she's not going to turn her radio program down. unless it's a commercial and she can't hear you. But usually it's, you know, it just plays. It's like the TV. She'd have the TV and the radio on.
You listen.
Mom had to have her television. You're a fucking idiot, Rusty. You had a hysterectomy. Why did you have a hysterectomy, Rusty? Let's talk about that. Why did this woman have a hysterectomy? What reasons do women have a hysterectomy? One of them is childbirth. You know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 babies. Your body stretches. Yeah. You know, and women are flexible. But later in life, it, you know,
Making sense of the news.
a woman's uterus, it just fall right out of her.
Vince, holiday.
Here he is at the White House. He fakes. Use AI to steer reputation.
So Patrick has nothing to do but run around and cry like the fucking a little bitch. Wow, my motorcycle doesn't run. I got a chopper. Making like he's some big dude out here. Oh, I'll give you a 5 knuckle sandwich. I'll give you a knuckle sandwich. Fuck you, Patrick. Fucking dumb fuck.
No more complications until type 1 becomes type.
He's lying about when he showed his motorcycle. That thing's a fucking piece of junk. That fucking thing ain't worth nothing. You didn't take very good care of it. That's why you're homeless. You don't live in no house either. Ice. Ice, baby. Now, where is Black Ice, anyways? Where is that guy? Hey, Black Ice. You be a brave man. Come up and talk to Billy if you want. Huh? Why do you see skin color, Black Ice? Are you trying to be fucking Snoop Dogg? Black Ice. I guess it's a Negro thing. I wouldn't understand, right? Hey, Black Ice, you should go watch some episodes of Good Times. J.J. Evans. Oh, Thelma. Oh, my God. I just always wanted to just touch it.
About these representatives who voted against the Trump-endorsed bill last night, the resolution to the dumpster fire of the 1,500-plus page CR that Mike Johnson negotiated. Over months, Mike Johnson negotiated 1,500-plus page continuing resolution. I mean, you had censorship of conservatives, you had mask mandates, you had, structural vaccine provisions that would have prevented RFK Jr. from making reforms once he takes over HHS. I mean, we had gay elderly homes. I mean, it was just bizarre.
What about the language changes? Like criminals are no longer criminals; they're deprived. I can't remember the ridiculous language they.
Call them criminal offenders. We had to, justice involved individuals. It was just silliness. And obviously, Republicans were angry. Trump was angry. The Doge team was angry. People are saying that it's Elon Musk is running the government. No, regular Americans who voted for Trump with this mandate waste were very opposed to this. That was a disaster. So we had a resolution. We had a 116-page new bill that Trump endorsed, but that was not to the standards of some members of Congress. One of them is my former representative of Wisconsin. we generally think of as staunch defenders of conservatism, of fiscal responsibility. And Trump is pretty angry. And so commentators like Cat Turd on Twitter saying that these individuals were disloyal to Trump. And I think that this is pretty nuanced here, Jim, because some of the people are acting not in the best interest of the American people. We don't know exactly what's motivating them, but oftentimes some of these representatives have not been pro-fiscal responsibility before. So it's unclear why they're voting against. One of those, I would say, is Nancy Mace. Now, Thomas Massie and Tom Tiffany and Chip Roy have been very consistent on wanting fiscal responsibility. Thomas Massie actually has been demanding that we vote on separate bills. So a separate bill for spending, a separate bill for hurricanes, a separate bill for farmers. So we actually vote on individual issues instead of putting them on one package, which is ultimately better for the American people. I don't want to for too long here, Jim. I just want to kind of lay this out. A lot of anger at these 38 guys. It looks like now, Jim, we're actually going to start to get separate bills for these issues, which I think ultimately is a good thing.
And the other thing about it all is that they purposely wait until the end of the year. They didn't have to wait this long to do this stuff. They could have been doing it all along. Or was elected into office as president-elect, they could have gone after this and started doing these bills and putting it together then. You don't wait till the last minute. And again, I go back to with these guys. Obviously, they're having conversations about what the future of government is probably Doge in depth in those conversations. And then to be able to actually put forward a bill that's 1,500 pages of garbage. How do you do that? And this is what we need, because we need to do this for a over. How am I supposed to trust you when you're putting all this crap into this bill and you're going to pass it? You're going to give Democrats everything they freaking wanted? That should have happened. J.D. Vance was pretty upset of it, but here's the other thing. The blame game, where you have some blaming the 38 Republicans, but if you put the Democrats in Congress who do not want fiscal responsibility.
Government, even though we had a clean CR, give a president negotiating leverage during his first term, or sorry, the first year of his term. And number two, because they would rather shut down the government and fight for global censorship. They've asked for a shutdown, and I think that's exactly what they're doing.
I think I'm not afraid of a shutdown. I'm not afraid of it.
I'm not either. And like I said, especially considering the government, our Democrats across state and federal government facilitated a shutdown that impacted the entire country. I don't feel too bad for the federal employees who are worried about a shutdown. And I just to clarify a little bit here, Jim. Separate bills, totally get that. Another piece of the pie here is that this would have raised the debt ceiling. And the debt ceiling is, of course, the limit on how much the federal government can borrow. So it's not spending, but it's the limit on how much we can spend. And a lot of Republicans that are fiscally responsible do not want to raise the debt ceiling. Now, Trump has said, listen, you guys, you don't get into office. Let's get this debt ceiling thing figured out. We know we're going to hit it really soon. I don't want my agenda to be compromised. And trust me that I will not be wasteful in this ad. You have to trust me. He's put together Doge. He said, I'm going to cut $2 trillion. And I think ultimately what we're seeing here is some members, I don't trust Trump to do that. That's essentially what they're saying by rejecting about this, Jim, because Trump was a spender in his first term. I do tend to trust him, and I do tend to think that we should give Trump the ability to enact his agenda when he gets in office. And I would prefer to actually vote on this bill to take Trump at his word. But they didn't. And now it looks like we're going to get some real headway with the separate bills. So I have a nuanced take on this. I don't think we should be flame throwing and saying we're going to primary really good representatives like Thomas Massey, like Tom Tiffany, like Chip Roy.
I agree with your take on that 100%. Chip Roy's been, a good. People are going to be doing the right things for you 90-something% of the time, and that's what these guys do. These are principled stances these guys have taken. It's not new. It's not out of nowhere. Mark Levin has written about this. And he's talked about it for decades. I've listened to him for decades. But he had this tweet the other day, and it's so on point. You got to talk about it's not like when we had the shutdown over COVID. We're all shut down. Nobody was working. No goods were being produced. No services were happening. People were losing their jobs, and businesses were having a hard time staying open. This isn't like that. People will get things will stay open. Republicans, the sky will not fall if there's a government shutdown. The government was shut down 6 times during Ronald Reagan's presidency. Yet recent presidents have avoided it like the plague. The nation survived. Reagan won massive landslides. And in the end, the public didn't give a damn despite all the media Democrat Party hype. The bureaucrats wound up getting their money. Social Security checks and Medicare payments continued without a hitch. So did veterans benefits. The active military was unaffected. That is, truly essential government services were funded because they are specifically excluded from a government shutdowns. Indeed, taxes keep rolling into the government's treasury. That never shut down. There's plenty of revenue for basic government operations. But a shutdown does draw a line on what the government itself calls it non-essential spending, like that wording, much of which, but not all, funds ideologically driven projects. And yes, it can cause temporary inconveniences for those visiting, let's say, national parks. Small sacrifice. In fact, a very, very small sacrifice, especially considering the sacrifices we made when a real shutdown occurred during COVID.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Jim. And another piece of this, we're talking a lot about the 38 members. You highlighted this just a second ago that only 2 Democrats voted for this bill. Only 2. The vast majority of Democrats voted against it, and they're not doing so because of a principled stand for fiscal responsibility. They're voting against it because they want all the pork that they lobbied for months in this bill. They want all of this in the original bill. They were having explicit funding for the Global Engagement Center. The Global Engagement Center is a sub-agency of the State Department. And this sub-agency has been involved in direct censorship of right-wing media to the point where my former boss at the Federalist, I used to work at the Federalist, I used to write for them, Global Engagement Center, and they're actually suing the government right now over this unconstitutional censorship. So to me, that Republicans would have even allowed this in the bill is disgusting. And that the only reason Democrats are opposed to this new bill is because all things they don't have the extra work, right? The extra bad, unconstitutional add-ons is also disgusting.
That's not the only reason. There is one other reason. They want the chaos. Because they think the chaos is going to reflect badly on the Republicans and the Republican leadership, which it should in the case of the Republican leadership. But this is summed up perfectly by Hakeem Jeffries fear-mongering exactly what's going to happen to this. He wants to gin up the fear in your mind. Listen to this.
It's about the harm that House Republicans will do to the American people if the government shuts down. Families will be hurt. Farmers will be hurt. Everyday Americans whose lives will turn upside down by extreme weather events like hurricanes and wildfires will be hurt if they don't get the relief that they need and deserve to improve their quality of life. If the government shuts down, holiday travel will be impacted. The ability of everyday Americans to visit their family, their friends, their loved ones will be impacted. Border security and border patrol agents will not be paid. TSA agents will not be paid. Small businesses will be hurt in every single community in this country.
Fire, skies, rivers and seas boiling. Start with earthquakes, volcanoes, and rising. Human sacrifice. No idea that the Ghostbusters were at that press conference as well, but man, that pretty much summed up everything.
It's fear mongering. A lot of what he says was a bunch of garbage. It's not going to happen. So I just read to you what Levin said. You know, it's true. Those checks have to go out. They're paid. They're lying. Jeffries is saying he just wants to Republicans look.
All the hysteria, it's all fake. We all know it is. It's so ridiculous. The other thing that really gets me is the hysteria over Elon Musk, Jim. We had Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, I think that's how you pronounce her name. I didn't know who this congresswoman was until this week. She has purple hair. She's completely deranged. She's actually a very powerful Democrat. She happens to be the most powerful Democrat in Congress on all things U.S. federal budget related because she's the ranking member of the Appropriations Committee, and she used to be the chairman of the Appropriations Committee before Republicans took over the House. Let's play that clip of her flipping out over Elon Musk.
Imagine. What does he know? President Musk told them, don't do it.
It's funny. The thing that one of the things that she's really worried about them taking out of the bill. I'm not even going to. You're not going to believe this.
You also plan to make important investments to address the roadway safety crisis, including the critical funding that would accelerate the development. And this is an area I've written to you about of the use of female dummies in crash testing. This will start to fight the gender inequity among vehicle safety and crash victims.
I have no idea female crash test dummies were that important to the survival of the Republic. I just think.
Okay, first of all, this woman clearly is mentally ill. I think that her proposal should be against the rules of the dress code or standards in the House. They have rules like that. You can't just show up in jeans, and she's crazy. Motivated by anything genuine. They're not motivated by fiscal responsibility, by anything that's worth the American people's time. It's all about their obnoxious, wasteful projects. And I'll just say this.
At the 2-hour mark, I'm going to shut this one down, and I got to do some admin. I got to recover my other account, see if it'll let me do it. I'm at 1 hour and 44 minutes. So 15 seconds or 15 minutes and a few seconds. Time for last call for the next 15 minutes. There you go, Patrick. Your fucking chopper is not a chopper. I want to see the tag date on them tags. You live in a place you can't park it out there unless it's fucking registered, I bet. And it's kind of a weird parking spot. Patrick, you live in You live in a halfway house. You live in a homeless shelter. That's what it's called an SRO, single room occupancy. It's a fact. Some cities have better facilities than others. Where I live, it's rural. If you don't have a car, you're fucked. Well, it is the county. We have a county bus. Went to my clock, but it's still reading 3 hours behind. I don't know what the fucking deal is on that. To fucking go to the other settings and in the YouTube. And it's not working right. It's not. My clock says 10:53. That's 3 hours behind the real time. Now there's Rusty saying that Tiffany's in love with JT when you guys are trolling Tiffany. Goes both ways. It's half dozen one and fucking 6 the other, Rusty. Wartlandia too. What a fucking look at you. Oh, yeah, my mother would tell you just stay away from her. Rusty. Your mother raised a fool, Rusty. Fucking Marie Luba Pina. I should fucking dox you. Yeah, I should post your fucking address. But I'm not gonna. I don't need to do that. Everybody knows what's going on. I got Wiggins' phone number and I got Dougie's phone number. You don't see me posting that, right? Rusty, remember when you said that you and Doug own me or whatever? You tried to use Doug against me? Real fuckwad, mealy mouth Marie. Hey, Wolfie, there ain't no friendship between you and I. I ain't your friend. Not you're going to support that piece of shit. Because Rusty is a piece of shit. And you're out here fucking crying and somebody calling you fucking lips and horse face and you just sit there and engage in it. So you're just as immature as they are, Wolfie. I tried. Yeah. I'm not going to get into a woman just because she looks good. There's got to be more to you than that. Your personality is everything. Why are you going crying? It's a piece of junk. You couldn't even run the fucker. Why don't you go out and show the date on the tags? I don't think it's even legal. Oh, if it is, it's only so you can park it on the property where you live. Because they don't allow fucking disabled vehicles just to hang around. Right? You ain't doing shit, Patrick. Fucking high wind, fucking motherfucker. Patrick, you can't do shit. You know? One troll at a time, sweet Jesus. But, you know, you guys can come in as an army if you want. Your motorcycle sucks. It's not a chopper. It's not chopped out. Go out. I'll let you up and go out and put your phone on the fucking neck of that fucking frame. It ain't a chopper. Ain't Nobody jealous of you, Patrick. You're just a smelly old alcoholic. You stink. If I wasn't right about you, you wouldn't be here fucking crying. Because you are crying. You're crying more than JT cries. You know, you guys, if you're from Space Ambient Chat or whatever, Fact Normal or all that shit, I don't go there. I've never been in that other one. 4 years ago, I went into the one that Wolfie was talking about. That's how I fucking know all these other suck fucks. No, well, hey, you're not a troll, that's for sure. I'm the benevolent troll. Look at you copying what Coffee Man does, spelling my name that way. Patrick, keep crying. Keep crying, Patrick. Keep crying. You got about 9 minutes left. 8 minutes. 151, 49, 50, 51. So 8 minutes, I'm leaving. Patrick, I got to do some administrative stuff on my laptop. Oh, Patrick, shouldn't you be out riding your motorcycle? I was right about that too. Patrick, that's all you could do. You're just chanting now. You ain't got nothing. How come you're not out riding your chopper? Why are you in here fucking bothering me, you stupid old fucker? Uh-huh. You're worse than JT. You fucking JT, young guy, he's in fucking chat all day wow, it's just unfucking believable. I earned it. I have time on the pond. You got shit. You ain't got nothing. You got Rusty? She's just an ogre. Okay. You're gonna be patiently waiting? All right, we'll do this then. You'll be waiting a long time now. Patrick, you'll be waiting a long time now. Hope you're patient. Because now I just hid your dumb ass. You won't be able to make no more posts now. And there's no other wrench to undo you. So you're on the ban list and you're going to stay there until I decide to take you off. How's that sound, Patrick? So you're going to wait a long time. I'll probably die before you fucking come off that ban list. You're done posting in my chat, boy. Yeah, you earned that fucking title today. Yeah, you and JT. Yeah. So there, we learned something new, Wiggin. He spent a lot of, he's known JT a long time from Space Chat. So at least 4 years. It was Christmas 2020 when I met Zen and Wolfie and Doug. Didn't take long for Doug to come here. Road trip. There, Patrick, I don't have to worry about you posting for the next 4 minutes and 45 seconds. I'll be leaving. But I hid you, Patrick. You're in the band. Best you can hope for is you go cry to JC about me. Can't wait to see that happen. What you gonna say? Your fake chopper, you can't even ride it. Piece of junk. That fucker's out here bragging about a piece of junk. Hey, Baba Yaga's junk collection's way better than yours, and he doesn't have a Harley. JC, you got to introduce him to Baba Yaga and let Baba Yaga show his knife collection and stuff that he has. If he still has it, I'm sure he does. Patrick Rowe needs to be exposed to. They'll probably become friends. I don't know. I doubt it though. He's got to insult people. He's got to be the better insulter.
Felony child abuse and neglect and wanton felony child cruelty related to the events on February 24, 2023. Is accused of stabbing his wife and shooting Joseph Ryan.
Boy, they're crying in that Vegas chat. It's fucking hilarious. I go become Rip Van Winkle and come back in 20 years, they'll still be crying. I got a bad feeling that it's not going to let me recover that other better. If I got the right email for it, it's I take it from the. I don't think I've changed it. If I wrote it down, I don't know where the hell it is. I thought I did. This one I did. That's how I was able to recover this one. And if I ask for the phone number, that phone's disabled. I haven't put any time on it. And they can't send a message to my landline. They can't. I'll have a recorder, and it's just, I've never called my phone and let it ring, let it answer, see what kind of recording. I don't even have a recorder to take a message. And if you call and I look at the caller ID and I don't recognize the number, more than likely I'm not gonna pick it up, or if I do, you probably ain't gonna like it. They're triggered. Look at all the triggered people. I look that song up and get the words to it and fucking rearrange it. That's why I say that. Look at all the triggered people. Da, 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 da.
After the breaks from Branch Ave, 50, as well in the outer loop from 95 to Georgia Ave. Easy 295 southbound, still stop and go from Eastern Ave down to East Capitol Street, and northbound from the 11th Street Bridge up to East Capitol Street. Also seeing delays on BW Parkway from 450 up to Road. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Hear my own chat. I don't really need Vegas. I don't need to go into Vegas. As a matter of fact, never mind. Times they have no idea it's me. I've fooled them and then changed the name back. Fun. All right, 2 hours, 22 minutes. I gotta go, everybody. I'll be back later. go, but I gotta go.